Okay. That's almost the answer, but I wanted to make sure that we had the same question. You might have been asking me, how do I make that happen?
That's the second part.
Yeah.
No, you're mine.
Okay. Yeah. I imagine there's not a person in this room who can't relate to what you're talking about. It may not be the freeway situation or any of your exact examples, but yeah, we are, these egos are troublesome, aren't they? And I mean that really. We are such essentially egoic beings as long as we're here and in the body. And I often say this, but it's really true. It's not just like a little giveaway line. Or throwaway. The ego is so good at what it does. It's just so incredibly good. And even when we know a fair amount about truth, most of us in this room probably does. So we've gotten much closer to it, but still we find ourselves working out in our minds why in this situation, we know or they're wrong, or if only it could be other than what it is. And there's no way around there's only one way out of that, let me just say. There is only one way out, and that is to continue to move forward, not nursing those issues. And I mean this because you're saying them and we're laughing, and mostly we're laughing because we can all relate to it. But as Swamiji always said, the minute you see yourself, the instant, Master said this as well in his discipleship notes many times, that at the first moment that you can catch yourself going into whatever it is, like this, that irritation on the freeway, is the best opportunity we have to stop it. And it really matters. I mean, even the freeway example gets a lot more complex when we're talking about businesses. And what if we actually see a way that the Sangha could be run better, or this business would work better if, and who would argue with you that it's not? I could even make a case from Patanjali's teachings that keeping order and having things look beautiful, that's a higher spiritual aspiration. So in the right setting, at the right time, the argument that you're making is spiritually correct, but it's all of the emotion that goes with it. It's the blame, it's the judgment, it's everything else that comes with it, which we can all relate to, that just takes us so far off of our path. And it's just simply a continual struggle. This was one of Master's quotes that from last night that I couldn't quite find. At one point I was looking for it, when he basically said, life is a continuous struggle. Those are his exact words. What came after that is what I can't remember. But basically he was saying, life is nothing less than a continuous struggle, kind of good over evil, lack of ego over ego, whatever words he used. But this is what he's saying. We have to keep working continuously. When we see ourselves getting angry, getting irritated, sitting back and judging and justifying the judgment. It really would be better if they set the chairs up differently, and here's why. And I'm going to be irritated. Why are they not listening to me when I tell them how it should be? Don't they see that it's endless. It's endless, and it's all ego as long as we have an emotion wrapped around it. It's not ego if you came in one day and you said to Lorna, you know, I have a suggestion. I've been looking at the temple, and I was thinking that maybe perfect. Anything after that, not perfect. And as much as we would like to make it okay, we can. It just takes us longer to get free, is all. It just, you know, upstairs in the kitchen here, this blew me away this morning. I mean, it was very sad for me, actually. There's a list. Somebody put up a list that Swamiji wrote. What would he consider a true renunciate? Did you read that list yet? Wow. I looked at it and I thought, oh my God, I'm so far from all of that. Almost every point. I mean, it was like, I do that, I do that, I do that. But you know, it's truth. He's writing that, and it's truth. What we all want, and maybe some of us don't really want it this lifetime. Maybe we're not really ready to be done yet. Fair enough. We'll come back. That's okay. We've been doing that. And I remember when I had the thought, I literally remember all those years ago when I was living in Southern California, and I was just starting to learn these teachings, and people were saying, if you do this, this, and this, you never have to come back. And I was a fun-loving, energetic, bright 20-something, and I remember looking at Barry and saying, why wouldn't everyone want to come back? This is so much fun. And I meant it. So I'm not judging people, but not everybody is really ready to be free. Really, we're not. It terrifies us at times. So, I mean, we have to acknowledge that. Do we really want to be a true renunciate? And it's a very serious question for us to ask ourselves, because probably, I hate to say this, but probably, if we're honest, many of us are not ready. We're not. We really don't want to give up. I was saying in something that I was talking at a week or two ago that one of the things that I saw when I was practicing medicine so much is that and I've helped so many people pass. I mean, so many, I don't know. I could say a minimum of 100, but maybe more. You know, that's what people do when you're a nurse, an ICU nurse, and then a doctor. They leave their bodies and you're there. And it's just come to me. It happens that way. I think I've even said this here before. Somehow I'm not in the last few years, interestingly, but before, people would have cardiac arrests on airplanes. I'd be at the scene of an accident on the roads. Just strange things. I was always around this. But when people were sick and they knew they were going to die, many, many, many times I would hear people say, you know, I'm not really afraid of dying. I'm okay about dying. Pause. I only wish I could live long enough for, and you can fill in the blank. It was their child's wedding or a graduation, or they wanted their pet to go first, or whatever the attachment, as if they were really free other than that. I heard it so often. Now, I could say the same thing. I'm not beyond that. Really being ready to be free, really being ready. It's very complicated. But all of these teachings, everything we're talking about, they really apply best the more sincere we are. And not sincere, because we're all sincere, but we're all at a different place on this path. And at some point, we just go, not yet, not now. And we just choose to stay again. And sometimes it's very conscious, and sometimes it's less conscious. So if you're sincere about getting rid of that annoyance, because we're all laughing, but it feels terrible to be annoyed. It's a really off-putting feeling for us when most of us who are here, at least, we actually really want to find inner peace. I would say at least, because Swamiji said that's the first, right? Almost the easiest of the 8 attributes of the divine to attain, inner peace. We want that for sure. We all probably want a little more than that, but definitely. But it's not peaceful to be annoyed at all. And you know, I don't know if you, it would be very helpful. I did this with Portland, and I don't know how many of you were there. Several of you were. But we took a course that we had offered in Palo Alto, which was a book study of Swamiji's Secrets of Emotional Healing. You know, those little books, and they're so rich, unbelievably rich. And we did the course in Palo Alto, and then years later, several years later, we did it for about 1.5 years with Portland. So it's available, and it's available on the Palo Alto website somewhere. But you can go back, you can find it, you can watch it. Because Swamiji, I don't think annoyance is one of the 30, but it might be, I could be forgetting. But everything else would help. It was a really deep dive, right? I mean, those of you who were there, a very deep dive into 1 or 2 sentences that Swamiji wrote about each emotion. And he shows us the spiritual path, the thread, the way, anger, fear, greed, annoyance, whether it was there or not, you would find it out of it. And it's really helpful to watch that class series, because those 30 things are at the core of every wrong turn that we make. That's the thing. The whole of the spiritual path is A, in that little book, but B, in each secret, the whole of the path. You know, it's such utter perfect genius what he did. It's hard to describe. So, I mean, to listen to that course. So whatever the annoyance is, I'm annoyed because A, B, C, D, doesn't matter. We'll always find things to be annoyed about. We could probably make your list from 3 to 300 if we went around this room. But the point is, if you're serious about wanting to let it go, the minute you see it happening, stop. Bring your attention to the point between the eyebrows. Put on a chant. Say a prayer. Start an affirmation. Get your energy uplifted. I mean, it's this song. It's the devil. And we have to bring in light. We can't beat it up with a stick. I love that saying of Masters. It's not a saying, it's a teaching. When he says a room can be in darkness for thousands of years. I mean, think about it. But the instant you bring in a light, he says, the darkness disappears. Well, you know, that's true about everything in our life. So it's a great teaching. Darkness, fear, darkness, greed, darkness, jealousy, darkness, annoying. Bring in the light. That's why the song was so perfect today, really. Yeah, so thank you for that.